Hello, dearly beloved. Okay, first things first, phones off. These are strange times we're living in at the moment. Huh? Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Walls. I'm a friend of the Cosway family, and I'd like to welcome you to the Fourways Memorial Park. And we're going to celebrate the life of our friend Annette Cosway. Because of health restrictions, only a few family members are here in person. If I missed somebody out, please forgive me. Gail, Nigel, Mary, Paul, Cameron, Ashley, Bianca, Haley, Jamie, Celine and Bella. And Tyron and Jan will join us online in the UK, as well as a lot of other friends and family overseas. And I know Dave is here as well, which is nice. And we'd like to thank Dave Abbott for enabling the live stream for us today and putting the family's personal videos together, and that's what we're going to do right now. Thank you.
So I don't know where to start with this. I remember how the last couple of months with Granny had been absolutely easy. When I used to go sleep over there was this one night when we both couldn't sleep, and we sat up on the bed, and I think it was about 7, 8 o'clock at night. And we just went through all her photo albums, and she's got a lot of photo albums. And we went through her jewelry, which is something I'll cherish forever. I remember how I used to make muffins for muffin time at 10 o'clock when Granddad was still alive. I know she's in a better place. I just miss her lots. And she was now with Granddad, and they can have their Friday night scotch 5 o'clock together, and they can cheers each other. It's been 9 months, and she can finally cheers with him. I remember how she used to let me play with her hair, with like those little butterfly clips. But only the day before it was her hairdressing appointment. And I mean, Granny took photos for every occasion. If we had an occasion, there were photos to prove it. And for my 20th birthday, she made me a brandy cake. Well, I asked her to make me one. And I just loved it so much. And she allowed me to have my friends over for a little get together for lunch. And when I was younger, she used to watch me sleep. And she used to tell me how I always slept so still, like I was so peaceful. Like I didn't move. Well, it's not anymore, because now I move a lot. I really miss you, Granny. May you rest in peace. And until we meet again, Granny, love you lots.
Here's Granny. It's with a broken heart that we are saying goodbye to you today. Your heart was truly one in this world. I don't think there was anyone else with a heart as sweet and caring for yours. You often cared about others more than you even cared about yourself. You always made sure that everyone else was okay before you made sure that you were okay. And that's something that was so amazing about you. Every day I would come after school, and on my way home walking, I'd just phone you and say, "Hey Granny, are you home? I just want to come for a visit." Meanwhile, I just wanted a lift and some sandwiches, because Granny always made sandwiches for me when I came afterwards. Every event wasn't complete without Granny pulling out her photos and her camera later on, just for a photo of everyone, just whether we were just sitting around or having a drinks or something like that, we always had to have a photo with Granny. Every time we stepped over at Granny's house, she always made us crispy potatoes and pork sausages, and she introduced us to pork sausages and peanut butter, and it actually tastes quite good. Granny always went the extra mile for everyone, and that's something that really stood out for her. And I'm happy now that you and Granddad are together again, because you're with your soulmate now and he will be with us forever. I love you, Granny.
Granny, I'll remember. Your pride. You were proud of us all, your family. That pride was evident in the many, many photos hanging up on the walls and the many, many photos you would take. I think we all knew when Granny was about to get her camera out. And we may have joked, but we know that those were special times. I remember the family gatherings at Granny and Granddad's and seeing how much you loved everyone being together. I'll remember one of my first childhood memories was setting up shop on your front doorstep. You had collected empty boxes and coins in a jar so that we could play with real money. You were the only customer at the shop, but I still remember those times fondly to this day. Granny, I'll remember your love of elephants, and perhaps thinking about it now, there's a connection here, because I also remember that you were the subtle matriarch. You would be the one to encourage Grandad and I to play battleships when I would visit, and I always enjoyed it, but somehow didn't have the courage to ask Grandad to play. That followed all the way through to my last visit, when you encouraged Grandad and I to sit together so that Grandad could show me his Royal Marines albums. And that was a very special moment, and that was because of you. I'll remember the pride you took in having your hair done, I think we all will, and how happy it made you each time that I would notice and compliment you on it, and how over time that compliment would move from being in person to being over Skype across continents. Granny, I'll remember as a child being amazed that you would always have sweets in your bag. And it was only when I understood why that I remember always saving some of those sweets for you whenever they would come with the bill. I'll remember your cooking. I secretly hoped that you would be making cottage pie whenever I would visit, and the almost guarantee of ice cream and custard just sweetened the deal. Granny, I'll remember going to work with you one day, and while I don't know if I'll remember much about the day itself, I remember the excitement afterwards that we got to go to the factory shop nearby and buy a whole box of my favourite instant noodles. It seems like nothing, but you always made sure there was a supply in the cupboard, and it's trivial, but I still remember it to this day as a really exciting moment. Granny, I'll remember, for some reason, the first time that I burped out loud, thinking you weren't in earshot. I probably did as a baby, but this was as a teenager, and it was just as you walked back into the conservatory. And 20 years later, for some reason, I still remember it. The look on your face was whether to be shocked or amused, and I think I was just utterly embarrassed, but I laugh about it now. Granny, I'll remember you telling me, after knowing each other for 25 years, that you think I pronounce my name wrong. I couldn't tell the difference in how you were telling me I was saying it, but hopefully I'm not saying it too incorrectly. Granny, I'll remember to say white rabbits on every Friday the 13th, and I'll think of you every time that I do. Granny, I'll remember.
Hi Mum, you there watching this, just glad that you're back together in a way. What can I say about you Mum? You were more than a mother, friend, sometimes even my drug dealer with still pains and microdols and any other pill that I might need for aches and pains, and you always had a stock of, you were like a walking chemist. You were my protector, going back many years when we first came to the country and I was smoking and Dad didn't know. And you would carry them around for me in your handbag, and if we went out places you would put a smoke and a box of matches or a lighter hidden somewhere, and you'd come and whisper in my ear and tell me where it was so I could go for a quick sly one. You know, Mum, you were great. You were the best mum any child could wish for. You were a great grandmother to Cameron, Bianca, Hayley, Jamie, and then the two foster grandchildren as well, Bella and Celine. We're all going to miss you, Mum. But you're back with Dad, so yeah, in a way we're kind of relieved that you two are back together. I mean, you spent many years knowing each other as friends from the age of 4, many years as husband and wife, and you belong together. Mum, we'll never forget you. You'll always be in our hearts, always be in our thoughts, and yeah, may you rest in peace, Mum, in the arms of Dad. We love you. Bye.
Hi, Mum. So it's time to say goodbye, rather than a while for now. I want to say a huge thank you to you for all you've done for the South African branch of the Cosway clan, in your role as wife, mum, mum-in-law, and granny. The way you welcomed all the additions to the original clan that arrived in South Africa in 1981, and the way you made each and every one feel part of the family. You'll always be remembered for your kindness to family and friends alike. The fun times we had, such as you and Jill driving all the kids around Chingola in your MG and in Jill's Triumph. As a highly qualified ballroom dance teacher, you tried to teach Jen and I the waltz for our wedding, which I think lasted 10 minutes due to my 2 left feet. The trips from South Wales to Exeter and back when you and Dad would get Paul and I to have sing-alongs on the trip to occupy the time whilst providing us with copious amounts of road snacks. Your love for the bush and your annual family holidays to Dipolona will always be remembered. I still to this day brag to people about your musical talent, being invited to join the Royal School of Music at the age of 17 to pursue your playing of the piano, and the incredible success in your ballroom dancing, passing your 6th gold bar exam at the age of 17, and being admitted as an associate to the International Dance Masters Association and the associate of the Imperial Society for Teachers of Dance, both at the age of 19. Even in your last days, with your health issues, you still put everybody ahead of yourself, and you stayed positive. So now it's time to meet up with Dad, enjoy a few whiskies, and both get your dancing shoes back on, dance away, and carry on creating more happy times together. Bye, Mum, you'll be sorely missed by many. Love you.
Hear the call of our people. The Hardy-Dars. Yeah, the Hardy-Dars are saying goodbye. Hayley, do you want to come up and do your little piece?
Hello? So I just had to do a mic test. Okay. All the memories Granny and Granddad gave us we will always remember. All the family vacations we'd always look forward to every year. For always taking so many photos of us, which no one really was looking forward to take. But now we are grateful because now we can look back on the memories Granny and Granny gave us. Granny Granny was always there for us, whether to just be listen or give advice, or take advice on how to use the cell phone. Granny was really passionate about animals, and for every trip Granny and Granddad took, you knew you would always get a picture of an animal sent to you. Granny would always yell at us every time Jamie and I ate ice. And I will never forget that, because even though we really loved it, it was nice for Granny to, it may be weird for her to yell at us, but she really irritated her, but we'll never forget that. She may be gone, but we'll always cherish the memories that we made together, and we find comfort knowing that she's happily back with Granddad, and we'll forever miss her. Thank you. Okay, say bye-bye, Granny.
I love you, Granny.
Say. Okay.
Okay, I have a little poem to read. Someone is missing. Let this be a loving reminder that someone is missing today. Someone our hearts still hold on to as we travel along life's way. Someone who made life so special for all those who gather here. Someone who won't be forgotten, but cherished from year to year. And now, as we pause to remember, let us all fondly recall how dearly each of us loved her, and oh, how she loved us all. Thanks for joining us today as we say our goodbyes to Annette. And thank you. We're going to be going to Gail and Nigel's now. Thank you for all the online people for joining us in the service. And if you want to get hold of us on phone or Skype or whatever, we'll be at Nigel's house this afternoon. So thank you all for being here. Okay.